Isaiah's sitting there thinking, I'm going to get mine. And
I used to do that.
Isaiah Thomas was bad last night. And this goes to my point, is that, Isaiah was loved, and he was a great story, and there's the tragedy, and he's a 5'8" guy, and we love. And by the way, every time he opens up his mouth, you want to hug him. Like, he's a good dude. And then last night I'm watching him, I'm like, okay, Lakers had been red hot, and they had that game secured. Isaiah Thomas last night, I contend that's why LeBron struggled with him.
Well, it's tough for guys that think of themselves as the number one option to play with LeBron. This is the question. I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but I think you'll like this. This is the issue about him going to Houston. Is James Harden going to step aside and say, okay, I'm number two?
To LeBron?
Yeah.
Well, James Harden is great.
No question.
Isaiah Thomas is good.
No, he's not in Harden's class. But that wherever LeBron goes, whoever the superstar is there has to be ready to step back and say, okay, I'm the second guy. If it were Kevin Durant, I know it won't be in Golden State, but Durant would be a little different because he can catch and shoot and he could play off of a guy like that. But a guy that needs to handle it a lot is going to have his issues playing with LeBron.
And by the way, you're not going off because this is a really good point. This is why I've never bought Houston. We would both acknowledge LeBron's smart.
Yes.
Now, he can be cryptic. He can be a little passive-aggressive. A lot of smart people are. He's not as confrontational as, say, a Kobe or an MJ. He's not going to punch guys in practice. LeBron knows what you're saying. And he knows the Lakers point guard isn't a shooter. This is why I keep saying the Lakers would be Cleveland players where they look up to LeBron with talent.
If
Kuzma,
he and George.
Yes. The Houston thing never works for me, Chris, because if you believe LeBron is smart, and I do, he's played with Kyrie. He's played with ball-centric Isaiah Thomas. He knows deep down that Houston thing, we'd have no bench, and it would be weird.
Well, yeah, and James Harden, look, he's going to be the MVP. He thinks in his mind he should have had at least two.
Yes.
Because the players voted him a few years ago. I voted him a few years ago in 2015 when Steph won his first. So, yeah, that's an issue there. Look, with Lonzo, if Lonzo keeps shooting the three-pointer the way he is, that's perfect to play next to LeBron.
Perfect. Because LeBron wants you to be able to hit threes, but doesn't want you to be ball-centric.
Yep. And Lonzo, obviously, even though he's a real point guard, he gets rid of the ball quickly. He moves the ball quickly. So that could work. LaVar, look, I've said before, I think that could be a deterrent. It's not a deal breaker.
Okay, so now that's
it's not a deal breaker.
That's the news story.
That's breaking news.
Okay, can we have breaking news on that? Because this story is about...
It's not a deal. I'm not saying it's...
Breaking news.
I'm just saying LaVar is not a deal breaker that would keep LeBron away from
So
you.
you just didn't throw that out.
No.
That came from sourcing.
I talked to people.
Okay, because I talked to a football coach last night. You talked to basketball people.
Yes.
So LeVar's not a deal breaker.
Not a deal breaker.
My theory was...
he obviously he could come out and start saying all types of crazy stuff from here on. But right now, it's all right.
Oh, it's all right.
If the team looks good, and if this looks like the right basketball fit, LaVar will not be a deal breaker.
Okay, because I was saying this yesterday to Gottlieb, and I said... My wife is into design, okay, so we've had a couple houses, and she's redone houses. And when she does it, she doesn't want a total rebuild. You got to give her a yard. You got to give her a decent bathroom. LeBron needed to see two things with the Lakers. He didn't want a total rebuild. He needed to see, Lonzo can play. Lonzo can play. He needed to see Brandon Ingram pop. He went from 9 to 16 points.
He's playing well, yes.
So LeBron needed to see a little bit of a nice yard, got a decent kitchen. I don't have to bulldozer this thing. He's not going to go.
So you got him here.
No.
You're back on LeBron.
Okay,
zone.
I talked to a football coach who told me last night he's coming. That's how much I know. No, I do believe LeBron needed two signals. And in the last 2 weeks, LeBron. He sits home and watches. That Cavs game's over. He went home and watched the Lakers last night.
You know who else needed signals?
Who?
Paul George. And the signal is that they're cascading down the standings. And, I can't fathom they won't make the playoffs. But right now, it's in question. But let me ask you this. if you're LeBron, you think the Lakers is definitely better than Philly?
Big difference. I got 2 homes in L.A. Ingram doesn't have an injury issue. Lonzo doesn't have a history of injury issues. Joel Embiid does, and Ben Simmons can't shoot threes. LeBron wants to go L.A.'s a better fit. He's here all summer. So let's just start with that.
A lot of players are, though.
Well, they don't have 25 million homes. And
Derrick Rose is here in the summer. You want him?
I don't want him. But LeBron, Ben Simmons is great, can't shoot. Well, LeBron's not a three-point specialist. This is working out. Ingram hits threes. Lonzo hits threes. Kuzma hits threes. LeBron doesn't want to go to a total bulldozing project. He wants to go to a young, emerging roster. I can argue for Philly, but Embiid and Simmons don't hit threes, and it's a three-point. You're not
But you got a lot of – you could surround them with 3-and-D guys.
LA's got them right now, and they're young and they're cheap, meaning I can bring another star in. All right, let's shift to this. Chris Mannix is an NBA guy. Now, he covers the Celtics a lot, so he loves Boston. And I'm kind of cool on Boston right now until Gordon Hayward gets back next year. He's not going to play this year. So this is Chris Mannix on First Things First. He didn't buy this Cleveland team at all.
Your refusal to kind of acknowledge how bad the Cavs are defensively and how problematic that's going to be in the playoffs continues to astound me.
What were the Cavs defensively after the All-Star break last year, Mannix?
I don't care. It's
29.
Not last year. You know
they
who
were
they had
29.
last year? But Kyrie Irving. They had Kyrie
and that was
Irving
a defensive
last year. Who could carry them in bad games? Right now, the starting lineup includes 2 guys that have never experienced high-level playoffs, Rodney Hood and Larry Nance Jr. You're telling me you're sure that this Cavs team walks into the playoffs and defends at a high level? This Cavs team, Nick, has a better chance of losing in the first round than playing at a high level defensively.
I think he's crazy. What do you think?
He's off his rocker.
Yeah.
I love Chris, but here's the thing. He mentioned the Cavs have 2 guys in their starting lineup that haven't experienced high-level playoff basketball. So does Boston. Jaylen Brown, I mean, do you want to give him that much credit for last year, his play in the playoffs? And Jason Tatum. Tatum has already hit a wall. So you got a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old who, talented-wise, they're great, and they will be great going forward. But it's almost unprecedented for a team whose second and third leading scorers are 19 and 20 years old to get to the finals. Whose supporting cast is better? Well, let me back up. LeBron is by far the best player in the East, right?
Easily.
By a mile, okay? His supporting cast is better than Kyrie's supporting cast.
And that's right now. Kevin Love's coming back. Kevin Love had a surgery last year. Kevin Love is a borderline all-star in the East.
Oh, he's a perennial all-star in the East.
Okay, so they're getting him back in 10 days.
And he will, as we talked about before on the show many times, he will be the definitive second option. And that's where he thrives.
And that's where he's happy.
His inconsistency comes is when he's a third option. You know, it's LeBron, it's Kyrie, then me. It's LeBron, Isaiah, then me. It will be LeBron, Kevin Love. And he'll give you his 20 and 10. And then you got Larry Nance Jr., who should remain in the starting lineup when Tristan gets back. Love at center, Nance at the 4, LeBron at 3. Here's where I agree with Mannix. The 2 things I want to see from Cleveland going forward. 1, they should not be a 3-point defending or reliant team. You see this graph? Look at that. They're 15 and 22 when they hit fewer than 13 3-pointers. Only 1 team in the league hits 13 3-pointers a night, and that's Houston because they shoot 42 of them. Cleveland has enough scores, straight up create their own shot, go off the dribble, also can hit mid-range shots, scores. LeBron, Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson. They got enough guys like that now where they shouldn't be, if we don't hit threes, we lose. And that's what they've been. And that's because their offense has been built that way. Last night, I liked it. I think the last few games, they've been different. There's been more cutting. Larry Nance cutting to the basket, getting some passes from LeBron. LeBron cutting to the basket. I want to see a more balanced team offensively. And then I want to see consistency on the defensive end.
Listen, they're 5-4 since all these new band members joined. They're fine. They have a road trip coming up where they got to go to awful Phoenix, and they have a chance to beat Phoenix and the Lakers and the Clippers and, like, Chicago. I think we're freaking out. This is what I said yesterday about Duke basketball. Every time Duke loses, lead Sports Center, they lose by 2 points in the road. The fans dump on the floor. It's great video. It goes viral, and we're like, oh, Duke's in big trouble. Do you realize Duke's one of 4 teams that can win 6 games? And when they get seeded next week, everybody's going to fall in love with the dark horses. There's about 4 to 5 teams that can win 6 games. Duke's got 3 pros.
You make a good point. The problem with a lot of the sports nowadays is we treat every game like it's college football.
And it's not.
Like if they lose Wednesday at Denver, there'll be an uproar, right? Like they lost at Alabama, in week 10 of the football season. It's not the same. So I'm with you there, but their defense should be consistent. They've been awful 2 of the last 4 games and good 2 of the last 4 games. There's no excuse now for that level of inconsistency on the defensive end.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.